Okay, so what are we looking at tonight? We are looking at scales from Knathan's Knives. If you don't know him, I will go ahead and link his website. He does awesome Instagrams and awesome shorts and other great YouTubes where he just does a lot of customization, and he has a site that he then sells some of those customizations on. He's moving more towards the CNC capabilities so he can produce a few more results repeatably, but still a lot of it is manual work. These particular scales, I know from reading, were basically 90% handmade and 10% CNC. So, you know what? With that's going to come a little bit of a cost on that for that customization because these scales cost a little bit more. We will talk about that a little bit later, but I'm going to go ahead and replace these scales on these are the Grivery or Grivex, I forget what Cold Steel calls it, the AD-10, specifically the light Tonto version. They're so slippery. I was like, there's no way I would use this. It's just literally too slippery. Even just deploying it, your hand slides out here. So this is one that Micarta is definitely the order of the day. So the reason that I oil them down with mineral oil is just it gives them a more uniform look, and it doesn't affect the gription of them. So it still has really good grip. That's one great thing about my car. It gets wet, it actually gets stickier. This is natural canvas micarta. Yeah, this is canvas. So it might benefit a little bit from being rough and dry. But in terms of just water, it's going to actually make it stickier. Oil is going to make it stickier, if anything. This feels to be just about a wash, no appreciable change. So, but again, the look looks a lot more uniform, a lot better than just that kind of pasty stuff. So, all you're gonna need for this one is the pivot is a T10. The all the clip and all these other body screws are T6. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into fast forward mode as we go for the scale swap. That was one of the easiest disassemblies and reassemblies scale swaps I've ever done. Everything fits perfect. We will go ahead and go around there. Yeah, everything was done perfectly in terms of mating and matching the holes, the pins, screw holes. Everything did really, really well. So in terms of that, couldn't have been easier. What do we have? You'll notice that the hole that is provided for a lanyard is deleted, which I like much better this way. If you must have a lanyard, I would suggest you tie it, put your paracord and loop it through there, and then sandwich those on, and then tie your lanyard, and then it'll work fine. It'll sandwich into place there. But, you know, I like it much better in this case. I only usually like to put a lanyard on my small or 3-finger knives. This knife has no problem for a large hand. So on the whole, that's going to be definitely one of your changes that you're going to notice. You're going to lose the contouring, which, let's see if I can get that on camera. Yeah, you can see a little bit how you have your contouring there. So these are in fact flat and not contoured. And so you're going to lose that. Therefore, also your pivot is going to stick out a little bit further than it did on these Grivery ones. And other than that, though, it's so much better. I can go ahead and put those by the wayside. I was going to say, though, in lieu of that, the contouring, you have this nice chamfering on these. So it still has a very good feel in the hand. In fact, it's beautiful. This is one of the greatest knives from Cold Steel and that Demco ever made. But yeah, I'll say this. I'll try to keep it short. The micarta is very soft. Definitely, it's not the most grippy, and it wasn't the super grippiest. If you want to, just scuff it up with sandpaper. I don't think you need to. If you want it rougher, that's what you can do. It's perfect, though. It definitely has a little bit more grip, a lot bit more grip, actually, than the those Grivery ones. You know, it's probably similar to the G10 ones from Cold Steel. So, yeah, as far as the weight goes, it went from 6.5 ounces to 6.6. So it's basically a straight wash from this stuff's notoriously light. Yeah, on the whole, I think it looks very good. Feels very nice. It's very warm in the hands, comfortable, and oh, it's just, yeah, it's a much better feel. In terms of the pocket clip, let me try that real quick. Um, Really, it's about the exact same as what the Grivery was, so not a massive change there. Like I said, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I did notice some posts on Knathan's site, or some of his posts about these go for $160 at present. I don't know if that's going to change, and it does not come with anything like a replacement micarta or anything like that. That would be a lot of work actually just to make that replacement backspacer and integrated spring holder as well as lanyard loop. So I fully understand that. But what I would say is I was thinking about some comparables. This is a knife that's roughly $110, $120 maybe. You can get it on Amazon for like $90. And if these are $160, you just turn this knife, it's much more than the knife itself. You turn this knife from $110 into $270. So I was thinking about, for an AUS 10A or whatever, but you could do it with the regular AD-10 too, with S35 yen. So if that issue being thrown to the side, I was thinking about some other knives where I've actually the price of the knife was more with replacement scales. So these are titanium replacement, basically scales for the Kershaw Lucha, and it turned what I got this knife for $110, and the scales themselves were $150 or $149, but basically $150. So I turned a $109 knife into a $260 knife. But is this as good as some Blade Runner Systems full titanium or sandwich knives? Yeah, it is now. So for me, that was an example of where it went way above the price of the knife. And then this is the AD 20.5, and this one was the standard in, actually, yeah, no, this was the 3V one. So the 3V one was like $175 knife. Well, these are customized naphthanium scales that I had, as well as a backspacer, and that was $225 for basically this is essentially one of Rodney's custom patterns, which is I forgot what it's called. It eludes me. Maybe I'll just flash it on the screen. But I did a review on these guys some time back, and that was $225 against a $170 knife. So that made this one $450 knife. It has customization, and then there's that backspacer. So not unprecedented. Again, those two are titanium though, so you can maybe talk about that. So the only thing that I had in my collection where I had replaced the scales with micarta specifically that could be considered is for a different AD 20.5. These are Rips Garage Tech, and these are burlap micarta. They do come with a backspacer. And these, which are much smaller, so if we just kind of put these side by side, they're much smaller, and I don't know in terms of the complexity, what's been, what is that much more. I will say these have an inset liner for the, in fact, we're going to show that. These have an inset liner, so maybe it's a wash against the size, but obviously the micarta size of the slabs is going to be much more for this AD-10 than it is going to be for these. But these are $70, so maybe somewhere in between is a price. For me, I think about the stuff that like Richie and Lindy do. I think her name's Lindy. I don't know, the knife modders, but you're paying for a person's time on this. And if it's something you like, and for me, this is an all-time great knife in terms of a harder use knife. And the fact that they now have it on this Tonto, I absolutely love this knife, and it just became one of my favorite Tontos, so I'll have to revisit that top 5 list. And for me, it's worth it, but for some people, it may not be worth it. And at $160, you just have to decide for yourself. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it in hand, and I'm more likely to probably carry it more and enjoy it more too. Oh, one last public service announcement. Don't forget on the AD-10, this is one of those where you have to put your finger forward. I did cut right there on my finger because I was lazy like I do with most cold steels and backlocks. I just had my finger in a backward position. It has a very short forward choil there, and it will cut right in there. So on this knife, be sure you put your finger way far forward and stop it in that choil. So, hope this was interesting, useful, or otherwise. If it was, like and subscribe. Have a great day. Take care now.